Alright, this is Mr. Timchek here. Today we're going to learn about putting backing and blocking into our walls. So we have our wall laying down. Most of the time we would be doing this when the wall was standing up, but you can definitely do it while it's laying down. And I kind of thought it was better to lay it down. Better camera angle, I think, how to do this. So you could definitely pre-do this though. The reason why you want your blocking in here, as you can see, we have our inline blocking, is to shore up our wall. All right, this wall can go like this, kind of go all wiggly wobbly on us if there's just top, bottom plates and your studs in the middle. There's not much support in the middle of your wall, and it can kind of get out of square easily. So we can put this blocking in to really stiffen up our wall. So right here we have inline blocking, and pretty much all blocking is 2x material. All right, so 2x4, and you just put it in between the studs, and it just stiffens everything up. So right here we have our inline blocking, meaning that all our blocking is in a straight line. The other blocking is staggered blocking, meaning a block would be here, and then a block would be up here, all right, in either side of that line. Now the benefits of doing inline blocking is if you're laying down sheet goods, it'll be able to catch that sheet good all the way across, no problem. So you can see we already got one inline in. We're just gonna show an example here on how to get this going. So the first thing you want to do, all right, is establish, all right, where you want to center your line. So if I wanted my center of my line, all right, at 20 inches, I'm not going to put my crow's foot at 20 inches. I know that a 2x4, all right, is 1.5 inches thick. So I'm actually going to go 3/4 of an inch down. All right, you could go up if you want, but I'm going to go down from 20 inches, so I'll be at 19 1/4. All right, make my crow's foot, and then I left my speed square over here. All right, you can draw a line here. Now what I'm going to do, since I'm working by myself, I'm going to put a nail in because I'm going to strike a chalk line across all these studs. You would want to measure the down and up from each one of these studs to do this. So what you want to do is put a nail in for your chalk line. All right, especially if you're working by yourself. Again, I want the center of the 2x at 20 inches, but I've marked down 3/4 inch at 19 1/4 because that'll be marking the edge of my 2x, and if you measured up to the center of the 2x, it would be at 20 inches because 3/4 is half of 1.5 inches, which is the thickness of the 2x. All right, so I did that over here. All right, and you go to the end of your wall. And you're gonna measure up. All right, you find, all right, 20, measure back 3/4 of an inch. All right, so I'm gonna snap a line all the way through here. So a chalk line has this hole here. All right, I know I don't have a gray shirt on, but there it is, a hole. And that's what I'm gonna hook my nail onto. All right. All right, you don't want to make sure your chalk line's nice and tight. We want a nice straight line. And then snap it. All right. So that is where the bottom of our blocking is going to go. So to install this, we're going to use 16 penny nails. And that's pretty much what we use to frame this all up. So you start from one side and then work to the other. Remove this nail here. All right, I'm going to grab some 16-penny nails. These are 16-penny sinkers. All right, I'm going to start at one side and work our way over. So the first block is actually the easiest because you can nail on either side. And when you're cutting your blocks, you want to make sure that they fit nice and snug. If they're not nice and snug, then you're going to be hammering in and you're going to have a pinching effect. All right, so your studs are going to have to be sucked in from the nails, all right, to meet the small size of your blocking. You want your blocking to be fitting just right. And if your blocking is too big and you really got to hammer it in there, that means that if the studs are going to be bowing out from the pressure from the block. So you want to cut your studs pretty much dead on. So this first one that we got going on here, we can just get it nice on our line here. Here we go. And we can actually end nail this. This is kind of nice. Yeah. All right, but this one we actually can only end nail once. And you see how I kind of turned my block to fit it in? So it fits just right now, but you can't just insert it. You got to have it at an angle and then pound it into place. Now I didn't have to wail on this thing to get it in. So you're just going to want to end nail it. And then you have to toenail it here. Now you're going to want the end of your nail. And away you go. So if this wall was standing up, which most of the time that's how you're going to do your blocking, you'd be able to get both sides in. And there we go. Put the end nail in first. All right, that's the easy one to get. And I usually tilt my nail up so I can access it because there's a stud here. All right, so I can't usually, if I had to swing it like this, I can't reach it. But if I have a little bit of an angle, I'm good to go. Now it's even easier with a nail gun. Got this Milwaukee cordless right here. No hoses, all just the battery. All right. It goes pretty fast with a framing nailer. But the thing about it is, you still need your hammer to get it in place. Good to go. All right. Pretty simple. And we can keep going here. Might as well finish it off. Got my Stiletto TB3 that I'm using. I don't have the milled face on, which I would prefer to be using right now. Alright, there's the Stiletto right there. You can change the face on it, but right now I got the smooth. Not ideal for what I'm doing right now because I really want to catch those nails. But it'll work. So in reality, this wall will be standing up and you can just go, because you got a toenail on the back here as well. Last one. It's always nerve-wracking hammering in front of the camera. Get all nervous. Alright, now we have our nice inline blocking. So that's blocking, that's to stiffen our walls and to prevent fires from setting in our stud base. Because if the fire started, let's say in an electrical outlet, that would be mounted somewhere low about here. Now if the fire is going to be stopped by this block, it has to burn through this block and then burn through this block, all right? And then hopefully by that time you'd have a fire extinguisher at that point, all right? So the next one that we're going to do is for backing, and backing is for hanging cabinets or hanging electrical outlets in between stud bays, hanging towel racks, anything like that. So the difference between blocking and backing is backing isn't going to be installed on its edge, all right? It's going to be installed flat face. So you'd want to start at the end just like this, and you'd want to snap your line. All right. See, it's going to be installed flat just like that. So your line would be a little bit different. You wouldn't go 3/4 inches down. We'd actually go 1 3/4 inches down for our line, because a flat face 2x is 3.5 inches. Grab my square here. A flat face 2x is 3.5. All right. So half of 3.5 is 1 3/4. So if we mark, if we mark 1 3/4 down from the center of our board where we want it, all right, and line it up with that line, we'll be right at the center of our desired. All right. So all we got to do is lay it flat, just like this. Okay. Let's just say I want to set a shock line. Let's say I want it at 29 inches centered, go 1 3/4 inches over, so 27 1/4. Put a nail in. There's my holder. So 29 back 1 3/4. Because if I put that edge on there, the center of that 2x is going to be at 29 where I want it. Hook on the chalk line. Get it nice and tight. Alright, now time to nail it in. So it's the same principle. The first one you're just going to nail in on the end grain. Alright, in the second one, you got a toenail. So like I said, you got to use your hammer and get it in. And then this time, we're going to end nail it. See here on the camera. Alright, imagine it's like this. We got to toenail it like this. Alright, that's what we're looking for. It's going to go in like this. So on our blocking, it goes in like this. Alright, from our top edge in here. And now it's going to be like this. And it's the same principle, but it's how the orientation of it. So I'll just do that here. Now this one's definitely harder to do now that I'm all pinched in here. Use my boot as a stop. Oh boy. There we go. Alright. So now that's an example, and you just continue on with your flat blocking. So I'm going to lift up the wall. You can kind of see what we're talking about here. Oh, I'm going to turn the camera up. There it is. Alright. So we have our wall here standing up. Alright. I'll attempt to do a little bit better job with my toenailing this way. Alright, it was a little. Alright, so we have our backing, and then we have our blocking. Keep it all nice in line. You can mount whatever you want you mount your cabinets to this, and then this is going to keep it nice and safe and from fire, from spreading too quickly, and it really stiffens up our wall. All right, so that is blocking and backing, how to install.